Are you in focus? I want to see if I'm in focus.
Oh god.
Check that first. I'm going to edit you out. I'm just going to edit everything you say out of the video. Well, that could be like a new segment on my channel. YOLOing with the key light.
YOLOing with the key light.
YOLOing with the key light. It's a shadow of my former self. From you.
Okay.
I feel like this is one of those like family meetings. So we need to talk about where all the money has gone.
Well, it went over there. You put it there. Give it back.
Where was I? Yes. Hello. Stop laughing. You may have noticed that I am not in my room or any of the other locations I normally film at because today I am in Southampton at Angus's house.
Hello.
You remember Angus, don't you?
It is me. Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about uni and whether or not you should go to uni, although we're quite biased, so most of it is going to be why you shouldn't go to uni. So we're going to be talking about all the reasons why you might want to go to uni to study film and all of the reasons why those reasons are a bad idea or they're not a good enough reason to spend all of the money going to uni. Now we are both in the UK and if you're in America the system is a bit different, although in America I actually think it's even more important to not rush into uni because the whole loan system's a lot harsher and you can't default on it or whatever and you do have to pay it back regardless of the amount of money you make. So yeah, this video is mostly focused on people in the UK and studying film. If you want to be a doctor, maybe don't try and do that as a freelancer.
Don't come to us for advice on that, please.
Don't do it for exposure. Open heart surgery, yes.
Well, that's exposed.
Okay, so number one, which is you go to uni to get a degree. And the idea is if you have a degree, you'll be able to get a better job in the film industry. People will respect your degree and there are all those studies about people with degrees or graduates earn more than non-graduates. So, first of all, I don't agree with this and I don't think you agree with it either.
I do not agree with it because showreels are a lot more useful than a degree.
Yes.
Like magnitudes more important. And when you're at uni, you don't really have the time to be working on a showreel, which is quite surprising if you are on a film course. I've ended up making about 2 films per year while on a film course.
And Farnham's only 3. So Angus is at Solent?
Solent, Southampton.
Yeah, and I went to the University of Creative Arts in Farnham. And UCA Farnham though is ranked higher than Solent, I think.
Well, it depends what rank you use.
For film, like for film universities.
For film in general,
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter though because we don't think you should go to either of them. We could be university ambassadors. If you want to go to uni, don't.
Why would they hire us?
We've gone off topic a bit. We've got sidetracked from the point that we were meant to be making.
Yes, the number of films you make in a year.
You make, yes.
At Farnham you might make 3 films a year.
Yeah.
At Solent you might make 2 films that you actually have the time to put effort into. And frankly they probably won't be very good.
Because you have to work with other people and you don't always get to pick who you're working with. So if you get landed with a bunch of sort of incompetent people, then
you need to pull the weight that they've left behind.
Well, that is, assuming they don't do any work is almost an optimal situation because if they then do want to get involved and they don't know what they're doing and they end up recording the entire film with the microphone pointing up at the sky rather than down at the actors.
Just causes you so many more problems.
Yeah, and it would almost be easier if they didn't do any of the work. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on being put with good people. You can meet some amazing people.
Oh, definitely.
But you can also meet some people who are not so amazing.
Yeah, you need to pick and choose wisely.
But that's just not an option in first year. And not even in second year some of the time either.
Yeah,
it's really more of a third year thing.
It's more of, luck. Do you get put into a class that, has the right people in it for you? And at Solent, you can't really choose what groups you work in until second and third year. And that's only for a few of the units as well.
And so that's not just the only part of a degree, there's also your reputation, as it were. But I reckon you get a lot more reputation working with people and working for companies than you do going to a certain uni.
If you go out in real life and work with real life clients, then they are going to want to work with you, and they are going to recommend you to other people.
People think the students have a lot more time than they do, and I guess some do, but if you really take your course seriously and you want to have a bit of a social life, like I couldn't, when I was at uni, I really couldn't do uni and do freelance filmmaking as well at the same time. The two just didn't go together. I ended up having to miss half of the lectures to go out on film shoots. So it's actually quite hard to run both at the same time.
And I find juggling uni and work at Graded Blue, to be quite challenging. I find that having to go into uni for a lecture where they'll tell me things that I probably already know is so much less productive than things I could be doing for Graded Blue.
Point number 2, which is a big one for me, and I think that was probably a big one for you too, is the equipment.
Yes.
You go to uni and you get all of this fancy equipment. You get red heliums, ARRIs, all sorts of massive jibs. It just sounds really exciting.
That's why I chose to study at Solent, because they have some of the best equipment around and they spend a bunch of money every year on new equipment.
So what camera did you use in your Year Zero course?
That was a Panasonic 151.
Never heard of it. Was it a good camera?
No.
No. What camera did you use in your first year?
The C100 Mark II.
So that's quite good. That's what we're using right now. But you'd hope that for all the money you're paying, you might get to use something like a C300 Mark II. Did you get to use one of them?
No.
So what about in second year? Have you used any new cameras in second year?
Well, yes.
Yes?
Well,
What did you use?
it was a Blackmagic Ursa Mini.
Really? Was that a good, reliable camera?
No.
No. Now I should point out that, okay, I do have some bias against Blackmagic cameras, but that's not really what we're talking about here. What sort of a condition was this Ursa Mini in?
Well, you had to plan your shots quite well.
Well, I mean, you do have to do that with most cameras, don't you?
Yes, but this camera especially.
Yeah.
If you decided to, say, tilt up, the battery would disconnect.
That doesn't seem like a particularly useful feature.
Well, I think it's, to keep you within boundaries.
Power saving, I guess?
Yeah.
The Ursa Mini and the C100 Mark II, they're both good cameras, but as we're going to talk about in a minute, they're about £3,000 each, which is a third of the price of 1 year of tuition. What do you get to use in third year?
Third year, I get to use an ARRI. In third year.
And which one?
I get to use the Alexa Mini.
How many Alexa Minis do they have?
I would say about 5.
About 5. How many student groups are there going to be in third year?
20 minimum?
20. Do you think everyone's going to be able to use the Alexa Mini?
No.
No. And this is quite a similar thing actually. Farnham had a C300 Mark II, which is quite good, but I think they only had 2 or 3 of them, so not everyone in the entire year would get to use them. And that was it. C300 Mark II, once you reach that, you reach the top level of their cameras. There were no ARRIs and no Reds. Now, I do love the Canon cinema cameras, but if you're going to uni, you want to be able to learn on a wide variety of cameras. And as we've seen here, that's really not always what happens.
No.
So we've concluded that you're not going to get a huge amount of experience with a wide array of industry cameras, but you are going to get to use some decent cameras like the Canon Cinema series. However, right now we are filming on a C100 Mark II. Did you rent the C100 Mark II from your uni?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Really? This one?
Oh, no.
No.
The one I got broke.
Yes, that's not so good, is it? And this is not from my uni, and they wouldn't let this come from my uni because I don't go there anymore. No, this is actually the Graded Blue C100 Mark II. This was bought through doing jobs, film-related jobs.
As opposed to what other kind of job?
Well, bank robbery. Bank heist.
I suppose that's a kind of job.
You did a bank heist, you could have a C700
Don't
FF.
tell people about that though.
Well, I haven't done one, have I? You think I'd get away in my high-end i20?
No, but you could buy a new car with the bank robbery money.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have the bank robbery money until I did the bank robbery.
It's kind of a paradox, isn't it?
It is. What came first? The expensive car or the bank robbery?
Find out next episode.
That could not be at all incriminating.
Not at all.
I feel like we've gone off topic here, haven't we?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't.
What we're trying to get at here is, rather than spending £9,000 a year on a university course, you could spend £3,000 on a C100 Mark II. I mean, you'd have to buy a few more accessories, but then you have an industry cinema camera.
In fact, for 1 year of university, I could have bought 3 C100 Mark IIs.
It is a bit of a problem, because you could just buy your own equipment. Now, I know you're saying that it is incredibly expensive, but you can start off by buying a DSLR, go out, do some freelancing jobs, maybe work on some film shoots as a runner, and if you're good, you can get up a little bit in a couple of years, and then hopefully you can get yourself a Canon cinema camera. Now, even though the C100 Mark II, not many feature films, well, I don't think any feature films are shot on the C100 Mark II that you see in cinemas, it works on exactly the same principle as the C300 Mark II, the C500, the C200. So now that I know how to use this, I can use basically any Canon cinema series camera, and I've got all of this training without ever being qualified on any uni camera.
In fact, I'd say that you've got more experience with this camera than I do, because you've actually been out and about in the field working with it, whereas I've had very few opportunities to actually get out and use it.
Yeah, but if my YouTube channel goes better, I can promote Graded Blue and promote production company and promote the render farm, and so then you do better.
Well, no, I'd do better if you just finish your work. If you just do your work, I'm fine. So you're just making excuses now.
No, I'm making rational arguments. How many YouTube videos do you post?
I don't do YouTube.
Yeah, see, I get more work done.
But that's a choice. I choose not to do
Okay,
YouTube.
working out. Work is literally in the name. Twice a day.
You don't get paid for it.
If I make money from my Instagram, because
Do you?
No, but I could do, hypothetically. If I look better, that could get me more Instagram followers, which could get me money. Do you know how much the Kardashians make?
You're not a Kardashian. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Well, they go to the gym a lot, probably.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Point 3.
Point 3. You will learn all sorts of useful industry techniques and insider information from the lecturers and various other staff and people that you come into contact with at uni.
Yes, I mean, every lecturer at uni has worked in the industry.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, none of them... Can you imagine someone doing, say, a university degree and then doing a master's and then going straight into teaching without ever having really worked in the... I'm sure that kind of thing wouldn't happen.
Of course not.
That kind of thing doesn't happen. Yes, so there are some very good tutors and some very knowledgeable ones too, but there's no guarantee that the ones that you get at your film uni are going to be good.
Yes, I have a few lecturers that are really good and they really know their stuff and they have worked in the industry and they really know what they're talking about. I also have some lecturers who know nothing.
Yes. Well, in fact, we've come to the conclusion that both of us know a whole lot more than half of your technical lecturers.
Unfortunately, when you say half...
Do you mean all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to book out equipment, we need to get an induction on that equipment. And that involves a technical instructor telling us how to use the cameras and, whatever else we're getting trained on.
Fair enough, yeah.
Unfortunately, I can tell the instructor how to use the equipment better than they know. In fact, they get most of it wrong.
They did. Some of my favourite examples are that the Ursa Mini, you shouldn't shoot in RAW because it doesn't shoot compressed RAW.
You can't compress RAW.
No,
Not possible.
It's just you can't compress it. There were another incident in which you were told, or you weren't even told about the existence of C-Log.
No, in fact, to everybody at uni, C-Log is not a thing. In fact, I haven't found a single camera that has been set up to use C-Log. Not a single one.
And bearing in mind, I say all the time that if you want to shoot with the C100 Mark II, you turn Cinema Lock on and you never touch it. Shoot in C-Log for literally everything.
You need it. I mean, why would you use this camera and not use C-Log?
Did they tell you to use video mode rather than film for the Ursa Minis?
On the Ursa Mini, we were told that film mode looks awful, so we should always use video mode.
Did it occur to them that it might need a little bit of post-processing?
No. I don't think they understand what log is. See, log's quite a difficult subject, isn't
Yes.
it? It's complex.
Now, to be fair, log is kind of complicated, but turning your camera on and filming in log is generally not that complicated.
The issue is when they try to explain log, when they don't understand it. See, I've been taught at uni that if you're shooting in log, you don't need to worry about your ISO at all. Whatever you set your ISO to, log will deal with it.
This is not even going into the whole creative feedback on your projects, because I know we've both had this. I've had a tutor tell me, right, I don't like the way you've done that. It doesn't look good. Get rid of it. So we get rid of it, and then in the evaluation, we get marked down because we got rid of it.
In fact, that happens way more often than you'd expect. You get told, it doesn't work, don't use this. Then in the evaluation, well, you should have done something. Like, why didn't you do this? Which you deleted.
Now again, we should say there are some great tutors, like there are some really good ones. But if you get landed with all the bad ones, you're paying a lot of money to get some very questionable teaching.
And the issue is, in my experience, you're more likely to get stuck with one of the poorer lecturers.
Yeah. So what's the alternative to this? Well, if you go on YouTube, you can learn pretty much everything.
Simple, really. I mean, the internet's been a thing for a while. Everyone's kind of put everything out there. You know, if you want to learn how to use a camera, they tend to publish a manual for it.
They do. And you can like find YouTube videos too on how to use cameras. Like, I've learned a lot of I think everything I've learned about filmmaking, I either watched it on YouTube or read about it on the internet, or I just sort of figured it out from trial and error and doing various shoots. None of it's really come from any formal training.
In fact, none of the formal training that I've received at university, I've applied. None of it. Because I haven't learned anything from it, because I already knew everything that they told me.
Or it's irrelevant or just straight up wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah. So number 4 is all of the things that aren't really film related. So moving away to a new place, being independent, and the social life. And this one is a bit harder for me to sort of
explain.
I was going to say that it's a bad idea, but
yes, yeah. I would say that this is one of the points for university. Moving away from home, finding independence, I think it's really useful for me at least. I think I have grown as a person since moving away, and I think it forces you to grow as a person, and you need to learn a lot of things about life that, you know, you can get from just moving away. And, you know, the friends that you'll meet at university, I mean, most of the friends that I've got, they all do film, so we all have interests in common, and so we can all talk about that, and we can also talk about how bad uni is. So the social aspect is very positive. Like, I live in a house with 6 other people, and we all get along, and we all talk about film and all of that, and I think it's just a good way to meet new people. And, you know, there's a good chance that when you come out of it, you'll work with these people. You know, I have like a producer, an editor that I can call upon if I need them. And that's just 3 people that I've gone to uni with.
Yeah, I think the social aspect is probably the biggest thing I miss about uni, like the brief term and a half I was there. It was nice to meet all the people and talk to them and make new friends, but I think for me that didn't outweigh it for all the negative things. But, so this is like a key thing about the social thing. I lived at home, so I stayed with my parents, and then I would drive half an hour into uni whenever I had a lecture or I needed to go. And I would say that is probably a bad way to do it most of the time, because you miss out on a lot of the social opportunities and a lot of the independent things. I don't know how much difference it would have made for me, because I was never really that committed to going to uni. It just sort of happened. So I think that was probably why I chose to sort of stay at home and not move in with all the fun and sort of accommodation. But I think for you that is a big thing. That's probably really the only main good thing about uni.
Yeah.
It's the people.
I think the people and being able to, you know, live here and just go out and meet up with people anytime I want, and, you know, just not being restricted by living with your parents. It's like you can go out to the shops for yourself and buy whatever you need. You don't need to sit around for family dinners or anything like that.
I enjoy the family dinners.
I know you do.
I like our family dinners.
Your family dinners are weird sometimes.
But they can be a bit weird. What was that point I was going to make? What was it?
I'm sure it was great.
I'm sure it was. It would have made this video viral. That's how good. That's how good a point
Because
it was.
everybody wants to watch a video about us talking about why uni's bad.
It's useful life advice, and we're having fun.
That is true.
What more could you want from a video? You get life advice and you get free entertainment. Brilliant.
Only at the expense of your time. That just reminded me. I had this one lecturer. She didn't quite understand media.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, when you record with a camera and you record with external audio,
Yes.
you get files on 2 SD cards.
Yes.
But normally, you'll have recorded some audio on the camera just for reference, right?
Yeah, scratch audio.
Yeah. Well, if you want to go and review those shots, you can just make do with the scratch audio off the camera, right?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Well, what you really need to do is get both SD cards, plug them into the computer at once, and then somehow play them both back at the same time so that you get the proper audio quality that you deserve.
Did that work?
No. In fact, she couldn't even work out how to right-click on the folder to open it. Maybe you should get coding.
Well, I'm here talking to you. It's your fault. It's his fault. Blame him. If you want the render farm, message Angus and tell him to work harder.
Work harder on trying to get you to work harder?
Precisely. Precisely. This is very they're so.
In summary, if you go to university, you will live in a house with a sofa that doesn't...
Ready?
Mine doesn't quite breathe as much as yours does.
That's because I work out more, I have greater lung capacity.
Greater lung capacity?
Yeah, greater lung capacity.
In your sofa?
Yeah.
Works?
Well, it's not like I studied biology at uni, is it? Right, so I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing so as not to miss any new videos. If you went to uni or didn't go to uni, or you have any thoughts about the subject in general, then please feel free to leave your comments about it in the comments down below. I'm going to keep on. Leave the comments down below. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on uni, if you think it's a good way of getting into the film industry or not. Anything else you want to add?
Most important thing, whether you go to uni or not, just make films.
Make films. If you want to get good at making films, make films. That's a staggering conclusion you have come to in this video.
I'm quite happy with that.
So am I. See you later.
How long do we have to hold this?
Really not that long at all. I'm all going to fade it to black.
What, now?
Not yet. I could have this in like as the last sort of 10-20 seconds when I put up like click on this video, and
That's a good
subscribe in
idea.
between us.
Yeah.
Like the union of us is the subscribe badge, like in the middle.
Like a Venn diagram.
Well, what? Maybe. What happens if you combine Ben and Angus? You get a YouTube channel to subscribe to. If that light was slightly more between us, like you'd have my subscription logo with lights
Ooh, that would be nice.
flying off it, but it's a bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah, we should have thought of that earlier.